All right, what's up, everyone? I'm here with Charlie Poole. Charlie Poole is one of my students in the Fitness Marketing Blueprint Training Program. And today we're going to talk about Charlie's kind of transformation from where he was to where he is now and how he was able to generate 70 plus leads, 14 new memberships in roughly 45 days using the Fitness Marketing Blueprint Training Program. So I have Charlie with us here. Hey, Charlie, how's it going? How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing, Alan?
Doing pretty good. Awesome, man. And, I kind of wanted to just, get this interview started by getting a little bit of background on, what it is you do, who you help, and what area of specialization you have with your gym.
Yeah, well, I basically target my marketing, and I have a lot of women in their 30s and 40s, generally trying to lose some weight, and they usually have pretty busy schedules, usually have kids. So I do 30-minute sessions with them, high-intensity training. And, that seems to be my market, and it's working pretty well.
Cool.
Good results.
Awesome. And how did you go about picking women to work with in their 30s and 40s? Because sometimes what I find in the fitness industry is, there's a lot of high turnover of potential members, of clients. And, what I hear from personal trainers a lot is, hey, I want to take anybody who's willing to pay me, or, just people in their 30s and 40s overall.
What kind of turned into that? I wasn't sure when I first started, and then I learned that I need to have a niche, and I was really good at getting people to lose weight quickly, and it just seemed that's what the market was hungry for around here.
Got it. So you basically already had kind of a proof of concept working with people in that age range and helping them get fit. And then from there you decided, okay, well, this is kind of naturally what I found to be working. So I'm going to just kind of narrow down and focus on this group of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how it kind of broke down. I mean, we get some men, usually wives that bring their husbands in, but usually it's the women that really love this kind of training. And they love how it's only 30 minutes.
Got it.
So
I like that you touched on a couple of things there. Basically, you mentioned, one, you're only working with women. And number two, you're also focused on a specific type of workout, which I think gives you a unique selling proposition in that, you work with women, so you understand a little bit more about what their pains and struggles are going to be. And then number two, or when it comes to fitness, and then number two, a 30-minute workout instead of going to the gym for 2 hours. So I think, that's a unique selling proposition. Do you feel like by you having a niche in fitness and, understanding what makes you unique, does that help you in your marketing? And if so, what ways?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, especially the 30-minute sessions, that's my biggest selling point, I think, with sitting down and talking to, I like to sit down and talk to all of my clients and see what their wants and needs are, and that's a big one. It's just having the time, and then all they have to do is take 2% of their day and give it to me, and they can get their workout done.
Nice. And can you tell me a little bit more about where you were before you started the fitness marketing training program, and where you're at now?
Yeah, before I was searching around for all kinds of different things. There was other companies too that wanted a lot of money, that were doing a bait and switch on people. So ethically, I didn't like some of the others. I was having a huge problem with Facebook. I hired a company in the very beginning. They got me leads and stuff, but didn't tell me what to do with them. So I had no idea what I was doing. And when I tried to run Facebook ads on my own, I could barely get anything approved, for one thing. And I think one time I got one email and I spent about $200. So I just kind of threw my hands up, and then I was getting most of my people by word of mouth, and I have a storefront, so I'd have a couple walk-ins and then get referrals. But I wasn't generating enough income, or I also didn't have enough members.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I noticed that you touched on a couple of points there. I guess just to backtrack and take it from the first part. So it's interesting. You were looking for other services or offers or programs or whatever that you felt would get you new members, but a lot of the stuff that you found out there was unethical in your view, like a bait and switch? What was, because I know there's a lot of bait and switch offers that are available now, and people gravitate toward them because from a marketing perspective, they attract people. But from my perspective, at least, when you show up, you say it's one thing and then you switch it on them, basically, it can kind of give people a bad vibe or rub people the wrong way about your brand and what it is you do. So, what is it that, or why was it that you were trying to avoid these bait and switch instead of going for the, quote unquote, easy money or just following what everybody else was doing?
Well, I think in long term, you're going to develop a bad reputation. And that's one thing I definitely don't want with my gym. So I want to get members, and I don't want to lie to people. I don't want to advertise free, come in and do this free thing that's going to cost $500-$600. I'd rather do it do it the harder way. It might take a little bit longer, but I know I'm learning a lot during the way. But yeah, that's just not my thing, the quick money, because it's an excellent business model for gym owners because they can make a lot of money off of these things, and also pay the other companies a lot too to, get all the information and all of their stuff. So I'd much rather learn it on my own and do it the right way, not mislead people.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So you were looking into these other programs, and then I remember that you just mentioned right now, you said you had worked with a marketing company before. And I think this is a lot of natural tendencies that gym owners have is the number one thing is they say, from what I find, hey, I don't have enough time to do things. So they want somebody else to do it for them. And there's pros and cons to that, I guess, from my perspective. But what did you find in having another company do it for you? What were some of the pros and cons, and why did you ultimately want to go the harder route and figure it out on your own and just get the right systems in place to manage your own marketing?
Well, yeah, when I did that, it got me a lot of leads, but I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't know where they were coming from, how to approach that. Basically, I was just, I didn't know if they were warm leads, cold leads. Most of them were pretty cold. I just had no idea what was going on other than they're running Facebook ads, and I got some names and phone numbers, and I didn't even know where they were going until about a month later. So they were all cold at that point, just because I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Looking back now after doing your program, it would take a lot of time off my hands if they just ran those, because now I have an idea of what's going on. But I might as well save some money and just do it on my own, because it's really not that hard once you get the hang of it and see what's performing, here or there, and just having a better idea of what's going on rather than just having someone else do it for you.
Right. And I like that you touched on that, because it's one of the things that I always say, and it helps to hear it from somebody else's perspective, that in theory it sounds easier to pay someone to do it for you. But as you mentioned, you're spending money for somebody to manage the marketing for you. You never truly understand it. And, in your case, from what you said, they were working with you, they just provided the leads, but it wasn't full circle. So it didn't tell you what to do with those leads, how to follow up with them, how to manage your sales process, how to, think about retention, the business strategies, all these other things that go into a successful marketing campaign producing a return on investment, which I like that you did mention, and that's a very good point. So did you feel like the training program helped you come full circle with it and not just say, hey, here's what you do when you have leads, or hey, here's how you generate a bunch of leads with it, which is what I find a lot of people are obsessed with in the fitness marketing space, is like, oh, whoever can just get the most leads is my job is done here, basically.
Right. That's how I felt before with the other company. They did their job, got me the leads. Now, doing your program, all the different modules, starting from module 1, you don't even get into placing Facebook ads until module 4, really. Mm-hmm. That's when we start actually doing the advertising. But I found out you have to lay the groundwork. I have to really niche my market and know who I was advertising and talking to. And that's when I started sitting down and talking to my clients and listening to them. And you start seeing all kinds of patterns. You see what their wants and needs are and what their fears and frustrations are. And then you just try and put that into like an ad copy and bring people in that way. You want to speak to people. You want to I know my programs, everybody that comes in has an amazing experience, but it's getting that word and message to them, getting them to think I'm talking right to them, because that's what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep. That's a great point that you mentioned. And I noticed that the good marketing, when it's, regardless of what your offer it is, people don't understand that you need to have a good foundation, understand, like you mentioned, people's fears, desires, and frustrations are. And if you already have members, you basically have your target audience there, and you just reverse engineer, what it is that they're facing, the problems that they're facing in fitness. And you basically, it's like casting out a net and finding people with similar problems, and you basically providing the solution, as you mentioned. And that's awesome. And then do you feel like that's major marketing more impactful? And what I mean by impactful is the ability for you to generate leads and the ability for you to convert those leads into actual, paying memberships.
Yeah, no, yeah, big time. Having the leads come in and then knowing their wants and needs and being able to sit down in front of them, talk to them about that, and then, get them to adopt our program and just get the results.
Awesome. And what were you doing before to generate new members? Because I know when I first talked to you, you were about, you joined the program back in October of 2018, and you were basically wrapping up your first year in business. What did you do before that to get new members?
New members were just walk-ins. I used Groupon. That was one of my polls of getting people in. So I got a few people in that way, and then mostly referrals. And I think that's how a lot of other gyms operate too. They, people tell their friends and family. But yeah, that was about it, other than having some signs outside, saying, "Hey, boot camp, come try us out."
Got it. How many new members were you able to generate that way a week? Or let's just talk about leads. How many leads of potential members were you able to generate with the old-fashioned way of, word of mouth, putting out signs, and that strategy to grow the facility?
Through Groupon, I would say, I don't know offhand, I was probably getting about 10 or 12 new people coming in per month, and probably closing about 8 of them. Mm-hmm. So I would say about 8, maybe.
Okay. And then what about with the training program? Once you implemented it and you followed the systems that are in there, how many leads were you able to generate within that same, month time frame, and how many members were you able to generate over, 4 to 6 weeks of doing the training program?
Well, the first campaign that I ran, 21-day, over, I believe, 6 weeks, generated about 70 leads. So I got about 25 or 26 to sign up for the low barrier offer. And I closed about 14 members. And I was, and my rates had gone up too. So I was selling larger packages and some paid in fulls. And I think there was some problems on my sales end on this last one that I did, because I was trying to get everybody to do paid in fulls so I could get more money up front. Mm-hmm. So I think that backfired a little bit with about 4 people.
Right. But ultimately, what were how much additional revenue did you generate for yourself from those first 6 weeks of doing advertising, getting people to sign up for the low barrier, and then from there, getting people to sign up for full-on paid memberships?
Over the last 3 months, I've been making about $2,000 more in revenue, maybe $3,000 this month. So I'm already at what I was making the previous months. So I've been able to add, after advertising, at least $1,500 to $2,000 per month.
Okay. Right. And one thing that I always talk about when you're doing marketing and advertising and growing a business, especially a fitness business, it's not always about the fastest money up front. You just want to grow consistently. And as you're growing, you're able to fine tune your processes, your customer experience, and tailor everything to handle more leads and to handle more members, so that you keep that level of satisfaction, as you're growing. So talk to me about your process right now for how you go about generating leads, getting them to sign up for the low barrier offer, and then taking them to an actual paid member. Because I think a lot of times, we only see a piece of the pie, which is here's how you generate leads. And a lot of other gym owners out there know how to generate leads, but they say, hey, I don't know what to do to schedule these leads in, and I don't know what to do once they're there and how to sign them up consistently from Facebook. That's not referral, word of mouth. So what did you do, and how do you go from step A, lead generation, to step Z and getting them to sign up?
Well, actually, I just started running the 21-day program again, so I'll go through my process right now. So since yesterday afternoon, I've generated about 12 leads. So I got one sign up, and I got one on the way, hopefully. So what I do, I hook up, I zap things over like you showed me in the program into Google Sheet real time. So as soon as that pops into there, I have their email and their phone number. So I give them a call right away, a text, and I send an email. Tell them I'd be happy to answer any more questions about our program. So then once I talk to them, if they're a little apprehensive, I tell them come in, try us out for a free session, see if it's right for you, or I just get them to sign up for the low barrier offer. And then after about 2 weeks in the program, I'll sit them down and tell them about membership options, make them an offer, maybe 50% off, the first month, something like that, and then try and get them to continue on. So that's my process right now with a 21-day program.
Got it. And how many times do you follow up with people? Let's say somebody doesn't respond to their initial text or your initial call. How many times do you follow up with leads to try to get them in?
Generally 4 days straight with phone calls, text, and email. So I sort of do like a little monster follow-up for about 4 days. So a little bit of, you gotta, in the fitness business, I think you really need to kind of pester people a little bit because they're unsure, they're scared. So, you got to try and answer and relieve any of those like fears that they have, and then just get them in the door, let them see what's going on, let them experience it. So,
and then at that point, you're following up consistently for 4 days straight, texting, calling, email, a combination of those things. And then you get them scheduled in. And then from there, you bring them into that low barrier offer. You let them try it out for 21 days, but roughly 2/3 of the way through that, you then set an appointment and you say, hey, how are you enjoying everything? And you sit them down and talk to them about membership options.
Yeah. And then I show them how we do, body fat analysis, things like that. It's not just, like a normal, box gym where you just, I'm not signing up members. I'm selling results. So I'm results based rather than, having, 2,000 members. I'm happy with 200 members that I can get results for.
Right. Okay. And what percent of the leads that you generate from Facebook are you able to convert into paid members who get results? Like, what's that number look like roughly?
Roughly, it's probably about 70%, which is a little bit low. So I need to work on my sales process a little bit. So I've identified that. So I'm going to work on tightening that up because the Facebook getting leads in seems to be doing pretty well. And you've showed me how to analyze the data, which I was scared to death to do before, well, mostly because I didn't know what I was looking at.
Right.
So I'm getting better at knowing what I'm looking at, or I know I can always shoot it to you and you can pinpoint, maybe an image is not performing that well, or maybe my ad copy, my headline could be off. I think my headline was off on the 6-week challenge I was promoting.
Right.
So.
Okay, gotcha. And with that said, tell me about how you were able to go through this program, because I know that a lot of things that I hear from gym owners is I don't have time. A lot of gym owners I find naturally are working in the business. They're training sessions, they're teaching classes. And what I say is, if you can afford to hire it out, I would, and just systemize everything so people know and understand what those roles are, because you're basically trading time for money by forcing yourself to, and a lot of times it's not even forcing. I find that a lot of, gym owners and trainers, they enjoy what they do. They enjoy teaching the classes, but they need to make that transition shift from working in the business to working on it so they can focus on these things like marketing and creating a culture and their sales process and making sure that everything's running efficiently. So my question to you is, what was your time commitment like to the training program, and how did you make time to get things done and to generate leads and grow the business?
Well, I truly have no time. And I have 5 kids, as you know. No, I made time after I do everything right now still. I'm just handing over, just cleaning the gym to somebody else. I'm starting to hire out. And I need to be hiring at least one other trainer. I have one trainer who does the 5 a.m. But yeah, I would dedicate about 2 hours a day. I would find it in there around my lunchtime, and I would just start going through the modules. So there's time to do that. But yes, I spend too much time working in the business than on it. And I'm really starting to realize that now. So I need to sit down and, work on the marketing. And it's a lot of work getting all these leads in and having to follow up on them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So you basically carved out time there and you said, hey, I'm busy, but if I can carve out an hour or two during lunch, you bang it out a little bit each day. And then from there, it adds up over time, correct?
That's correct. And I know you're getting on me about organization. I always have too many tabs open on my computer. So yeah, I do. I get scatterbrained. I'm working off 2 computers now. So you're really mad at me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, ultimately it comes down to not so much about, as one would say, time management and managing time, but it's about focus. And I think, one of the best ways to focus is put it on your calendar. This is the time I'm going to work on X, Y, Z. And then remove distractions, whether it be closing tabs, whether it be putting your phone to the side or in another room so you can't hear it ring completely. That's one of the things I do. And then you get that momentum, and on that little bit of momentum, 2 hours, getting stuff done, it builds on for the next day and the next day. And that's, how you ultimately achieve your goals. But that's awesome. That's good to hear. Somebody that has 5 kids, runs a business full time and, is just now getting to a point where, you're going to start outsourcing things and growing the revenue and putting systems in place, which, I'm totally excited about. And I look forward to learning more about your transition and the growth of your business. And can you tell me a little bit more about, what did you like about the training program, the fitness marketing blueprint? What did you take away from it? How did it benefit you? And, what did you like about it?
I like the step-by-step process, starting this, going into every detail from the beginning before I even got into what I really wanted it for. It was the Facebook marketing, but even sales and identifying your target audience. I mean, it's step by step. And you were a biochemist or what did you used to do?
My background was in nanoengineering. Biotech.
Yeah. So you can tell you pay attention to details. So, and that's one of my weaknesses too, is being organized and just having a step-by-step process. So when I go through the modules, it makes a lot of sense. I can always go back and it's just that step-by-step. And that's one of the big things, just being able to cover all those different bases, I run into a lot of stuff, just not knowing what's going on, this being my first business and everything. So it's nice to have a step-by-step process.
Mm-hmm. Right. And once you understand how it works and how the rules of, the Facebook marketing work, the rules of how to generate referrals, the customer experience, how to do the sales, it's more so you understand how it works, and it's just about making it better. And it's not so confusing anymore. You just know what, you need to do to get X outcome that you want, which is awesome. And what do you feel like about the training program has helped you transform your fitness business specifically?
Mainly it's just being able to have command of Facebook and bring in leads, on command. Before I was just kind of hoping people would show up or people would buy a Groupon. I mean, they still do that and come in, but I'm not, it doesn't make or break me when people come in that way. Mm-hmm. It's nice to be able to get my name out there and, get those leads and tell people what we're all about.
Got it. And why would you recommend the fitness marketing blueprint training program to other gym owners and fitness professionals?
The step-by-step process. You have to have some kind of coach. I mean, if you think you know it all and you go in doing a business and you think you know everything, forget it. You have to have somebody. You have to be a coach. You may be a coach to other people and clients, but you need somebody that will hold you accountable. So like when you tell me, oh, get those, what's the KPI on that? It's like, hold on, I got to put that in my spreadsheet here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the accountability. That's one thing to have like your program is really good and structured. You got to have that structure and then learning systems, because systems allow you to scale. So it's making it a lot easier for me than, not knowing where those leads are going or have to, look here. Before I had leads going into like 3 different places. So now I know how to zap stuff right over into a, organized Google spreadsheet. So that's I'm using the heck out of that.
Okay. Awesome. And what are your 2 to 3 pieces of advice that you would give to other gym owners out there that are looking to get clients and grow their fitness business?
Get organized. You're going to have a lot of people slipping through the cracks. So you got to know where they're falling through. It's real easy to, somebody just walks in and you get their information. There needs to be a process because you'll forget, because you'll have, 2 other ones, and everything needs to be more organized. That way you can manage your leads and know where people are, put things in a spreadsheet. I mean, I still write things in my agenda book, but I try and keep things more organized, because the more people you get in it, I mean, you'll lose a lot of people. You disappoint a lot of people by not following up properly. And that's the main thing, is losing those leads, because they go cold real quick.
Organization, follow-up. Awesome. And with that said, to wrap up this interview, is there, any other key pieces of advice that you would want to give to fitness professionals out there, looking to grow their gyms and just have that consistent long-term growth?
Yeah, systems are a big thing. You'd be surprised, and I don't think there's any real secret formula. You kind of have to find it out on your own, but it's good to follow something else, like in your training program. I use a lot of things. I don't use all the same systems that you do, but some are similar. So we've been able to piece them together, and learn your systems and let your systems do that work for you.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us on this interview. Thank you, Charlie, with Cowboy Bootcamp in the Nevada area. I look forward to seeing your transformation and consistent growth from there. And aside from that, thanks, everyone, and I will see you soon.